Come forward and then you can see what's... Hi, everyone.
Captain Chaos is in town.
One eternity later.
It's on a wonk. What side? This one or this one?
Over.
Oh, that one's here.
One of us is wonky.
Too much.
A few moments later.
Yeah, that'll do. Okay, I'm still...
Greetings and welcome to Hot House Drag. May we please remind you that this episode could contain strong language and adult themes. So, if that's going to be an issue for you, may we kindly suggest that you off immediately. And now, please welcome your host, the UK's nuclear bombshell of drag and Hot House CEO, Kenz Blackheart.
Hello and welcome to a very special Father's Day edition of the HotCast. I'm your host, Kenz Blackheart, dressed up today as my very first female diva icon, Matilda from Robot Wars. And joining me on the sofa today, literally in the exact same place that he would normally be, so he's had a very long way to travel today. He is often a man of very few words, and today we are going to be testing that to the absolute limit. Please welcome to the podcast, Papa Blackheart.
All right, everyone.
That's the most that you will ever get out of him, is just, all right. That's high praise from him.
It's good to see one of his podcasts where I'm actually getting my own seat back.
Yeah.
Normally I'm evicted from it, so it does make a change.
Yeah, normally you're like sat over there next to Mum annoying her.
Yeah.
And today you're in your usual seating position in the house.
Not asleep though, at the moment.
No, not at the moment. I mean, we've got Jake's podcast coming up later, so there's a chance for you to fall asleep during that again, as you did the first time. In case anyone missed that.
It was very riveting though, wasn't it? It was good.
To be fair, that's just most conversations I have with Jake, to be fair. So now that I'm done bullying him, I was going to, do the usual spiel of, you're all right, you're all good, but obviously I know at the moment that you're struggling a bit with your back, so...
Yeah, it's a high, I would give the answer of being a highly trained athlete. I was doing the marathon and, the last mile I pulled me back, but...
In reality,
I was bending over to wash my feet in the shower and it went. So
yeah,
the joys of old age.
Yeah, well, that's just what life is like when you're in your 70s. So yeah, let's get into things, and sort of as I did with Mum's episode, it's nice for me as obviously your son, sometimes daughter at the moment, to sort of have these conversations with you about life, etc. And I sort of think, it was sort of something that was brought up with talking about Mum's episode with my Aunt Tanya. Hi, Tanya. That not many people get to have this experience, so it is lovely. And thank you for doing it. I know that it's definitely out of your comfort zone.
Yes, speaking is I'm quite a reserved person, as you know. Yeah. Until people get to know me, then I hit the switch and I'm off then.
Yeah, all hell breaks loose, quite literally. But no, to be fair though, I'm very much the same as you. I mean, obviously, I do this as a semi-living, speaking to an adoring public and on stage and that. But outside of things, I'm very much the same as you. I'm very introverted. I only like to talk when there is something that actually is worthwhile saying.
Yeah, as you all know, I'm not one for small talk.
No.
I'm very much of, if it's worth saying, I'll say it. If it's not much saying, then I'm not. It's be quiet.
Yeah, I hate small talk. Yes, the weather's lovely. Yes, I'm still fine from the last time you saw me. Like, if there is anything that I need to particularly update on, I will do so. But otherwise, I'm fine. And it's literally a case of when I say I'm fine, literally I'm fine. Yeah. So yeah, now that we've got the pleasantries out the way. Let's go way back into things and sort of go back to the start, really. Obviously, you were born in London, same as Mum, a little bit after her, 1966.
That's right.
Which is a bit of a family trait, because obviously you were born 66, I was 96, and
my mum was 36.
36,
so
yeah.
It's been 30 years between three generations.
Yeah, between three generations, so a little trivia fact for all you Kenzie fans out there. And which part of London was it you was born?
I was born in Queen Mary Hospital in Stratford.
Right.
I understand it was an old hospital which got knocked down and never really found much information. So what my mum told me might be true, maybe not. I'm not too sure. But
yeah,
that's in Stratford. But I lived really for the first 18 years in Forest Gate. Really, it was sort of off of Green Street, Upton Park. So down the road from the West Ham football ground. So.
Okay, so yeah, not far from there really. Which ironically, I suppose, would have been sort of perfect circumstance for you to become, obviously an avid West Ham fan, but
yes,
not really. In reality, you're more of a rugby guy.
Yes, I mean football. Watch the main games, but I'd rather go and watch a game of rugby or something like that for myself. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same as us. We're only interested in the women's football just because it's actually a lot more interesting, to be honest. They're a lot more get up and go than the men's game. But yeah, same as well with rugby. I just like the rugby players more than anything, but that's not what this episode is about.
I mean, we got shape balls, would you like?
Jacob. And yeah, so obviously growing up, obviously I know that, again, similar circumstances sort of you bestowed upon me, also being an only child. What was that sort of, obviously I know the answer to the question very much, but what was that home life like for you?
It was good, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, we come from that sort of East End. Both parents were working, worked very hard, actually, a pair of them. Was never a lot of money in the house.
Yeah.
But never went without food, clothes, roof over heads and that. So it was a good life. I was only a child, so a lot of the time, as you know as a child, you make your own entertainment. You get involved with things, either reading or early times it was mainly I did a lot of electronics, things like that. Always something with my hands.
Yeah.
Doing something, That later on, as a teenager, other things I fiddled around with, but but that's
until we discovered that, then it was a bit more, But again, similar parallels to myself, really, which is quite surprising. I always say that literally my skill set is just anything that involves my hands.
Yeah, and that's the way it's always been. I love to learn.
Yeah.
Always up for learning something, reading something, information. If it interests me, I'll read about it.
As we sort of know, obviously sort of living with you, because it is lovely, because I'm very much that sort of person as well, where all of a sudden you'll just like turn around and it would just be like, oh, I was reading about such and such the other day, and it'd be like this nice little new bit of trivia that you was reading up on or something. It's again very much the same as me, which is lovely. What was it I think yesterday you was talking to me about the plight of Maplin's, the retail store.
Maplin's retail stores. So they are sort of rise and fall, really, from grace. So
those are the sorts of riveting conversations that we have when it's just me and Dad. And obviously, sort of going again back to your sort of early childhood, etc. Obviously, I know that you was very, very close with your own dad.
Yeah.
There's sort of memories that I can remember you telling me about, sort of how you loved just going to like carpet shops and the smell of them in there, that you'd go with your dad. And
my dad worked full time, so he worked Monday to Friday, as it was, and then at the weekends he used to do extra private jobs to big extra income in.
What was he, like a hitman or assassin?
Well, no, private jobs as in he would go and... Because he always worked with wood.
Right.
For his years.
Yeah.
So he would be fitting windows in, doors in, so on, little private jobs for people. He would do that. And where the factory he worked, because it was a woodworking factory, he spent sometimes at the weekends, he would go there and use the machinery to make these projects viable.
Use what's at your disposal.
Yes, yeah. So, and I think I would say he got it with blessing of the owners.
Yeah.
It was all fairly close. It was only a very small factory anyway. And quite a few weekends when he would go in, I would go down there with him. I mean, I look back now and I think myself, health and safety will be right in every sort of throwing the book at, the factory. But
Yeah.
I mean, I was just allowed to,
There wasn't really OSHA back in those days.
it wasn't. Literally, it was, here's the factory, You've come in with 10 fingers, make sure you go out with 10 fingers, otherwise mum would be upset. And that was about it, really.
Yeah.
You go around and go, oh, that's a big saw. Wonder if I'll switch it on. Oh, look at that bit of wood that I flung in and where it's gone, So it was, it was very dangerous. But those days, you was very much, you was responsible for your own safety. Your common sense, you didn't have to have someone telling you, no, you mustn't do that. Because you learn very quickly that you don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and that's where I loved woodworking. My dad was part of like an engineering shop there as well. So that's where my love of metalworking come in, I suppose, as well. Because I'd go in there and work on some of the machinery that he had available. But yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing about the carpet shops. He used to do a lot of work for a guy who owned a carpet business. I won't say the name because I think they're still, I'm not sure if it's still in the family.
Right, okay, yeah.
Generation. So but he would go in there and do jobs and I would sometimes go along and become a nuisance, really. But that's that smell of, in their basement, they always had big rolls of carpet because they used to do a lot of fitting for hotels and
right, yeah.
Retail places. And there'd always be a big roll of carpet and you go in there and find somewhere and it's that sort of smell. So
Nostalgia.
yeah, so even now when I go into a carpet shop, it does bring back a lot of memories.
Yeah.
But yeah, they was good times,
Yeah.
Those days there was no, computers were only just coming out really, as in ones your home computers, and there was no real entertainment really, so you made your own entertainment, but that was good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously, talking about computers, you were sort of at the forefront of the what we now know as like the digital age, really.
Yeah.
Working for BT as you did throughout near enough your whole life.
I mean, when I went to college, I think one of the colleges I used to go was because we used to do block release because I was an apprentice with BT. And one of them we went to was East Ham College. And we had the luxury of working on, I think it was a mainframe computer. So literally in the building somewhere there was a computer and it had various terminals around the building. So that's how state of the art it was at those times.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only talking the 70s, early 80s. I mean, that's what it was really.
So I don't think we really got the internet until like late 80s, was it? Early 90s?
No, I mean, when I joined BT, I mean, we were still civil service. Wasn't privatised, and we still worked on, there was still electromechanical exchanges. No new electronic ones now. I mean, I've gone through a stage where I've gone from mechanical through all the electronic exchanges and now to them being removed into a sort of an IP environment for telephones. But yeah, it was a good year, good time in BT. I mean, I loved it. It was a good career. People moaned about working, but I enjoyed the work. I worked hard. But it kept paid the bills.
No, exactly.
So
yeah,
it was a good job.
Yeah, and again, not many people that can say that they actually loved the work that they did. I suppose a lot of people, it's just like you say, it's paying the bills. But if you actually enjoy it, then you're one of the few lucky ones in this life, really.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose one of the later highlights in BT life was, working for a year at the Olympics. So that was a great time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's go into that because that's quite an interesting, chapter in your life, I suppose, really. So whereabouts in the sort of within the Olympic scheme was you working?
I worked under they had various different managers. BT had various different managers around the park, and the manager I was under was like a venue type manager. So he looked after sort of quite a part of the park, big part of the park, and we worked mainly at the velodrome, but we also did the BMX track, the tennis, basketball. So we looked after that, but mainly all my stuff was done at the velodrome. And really, we was there from the start. So we was putting in all the sort of the IP structure, switches, and sort of wiring up all the various rooms for it all. And especially on getting near the games and that, we would put down all the cabling in the main central bit for all the various teams. Because they wasn't really allowed to use Wi-Fi as such, I don't think. So a lot of it was all IP and Ethernet cabled and things like that. But yeah, so we was doing a lot of that business. So it was all installed. And the BMX track, we had to wire it up completely. So literally it was, the stand's been built, here's all the press that need connections, off you go sort of thing. So it literally was putting it all in and that. So it was a good time. And it was nice because literally through a lot of BT, we started off working as teams, and you then went to a stage where you was really much solitary working. You didn't work as a team no more. You worked, but the Olympics were very much of, you're working back as a team. And many a time, the manager would come in and go, and you've got all this work to do, and go, oh no, we've done it all. Oh, okay then, carry on then. So that was it. I mean, but don't get me wrong, we worked hard there again, and
no, exactly.
The manager we had, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
Many a time we would go, okay, everyone, we've worked long hours, we're all off down the pub now, and that, unfortunately, that was all paid on the company. So
yeah.
So yeah, it was a
can't really complain when it's on the company, and also. You was one of the very few to have seen the iconic 2012 opening ceremony before anyone else really did, I suppose. You got to be a witness to the rehearsal, first rehearsal.
Lucky enough, a lot of us, especially the velodrome, now we all got, and it seemed to be, we got all dress rehearsal tickets. So literally, it was the day before. I think more or less. It was literally the dress rehearsal. And I remember coming in and saying, I'm not going to tell you, but wow,
Yeah, especially to Mum, it was very much a case of, not going to tell you anything, but...
Yeah. I mean, even with that, the dress rehearsal, as you would expect, those bits were left out.
Yes.
So the iconic things of the Queen bit, knew nothing about that really, because as you would expect, only a dress rehearsal. And the bits were like, you had Mr. Bean and things like that. They had people standing in, but you didn't know who was actually going to be doing the piano bit and all that sort of thing.
So wasn't the bit with the Queen, it was literally just you saw the helicopter, but that was it. You didn't see anything else. It was just...
Yeah, I think they had a screen.
A placeholder.
It literally was like a helicopter and going, oh, it's a helicopter, I wonder what that's for.
Yeah.
But didn't really, what I remember now, I couldn't remember much what it was about sort of thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the day you went,
It wasn't until the actual opening ceremony, and I still remember it so vividly. Obviously, I imagine throughout that whole thing that you must have just been like, I don't know, a sort of a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? A little bit sort of proud that you sort of got this knowledge of a secret that obviously me and Mum didn't. So you're just there, like, I suppose watching our reaction more than anything, because you kind of know what's going on. I still remember, I think for some reason I was sat on the floor watching it. Mum, I think, was closing the curtains at the time, and then it was the bit with what obviously would turn out to be the Queen, the late Queen. And I just remember Mum standing at these very curtains, just like half watching the screen and that, and she was like, "That's not her. No, that can't be her." And then it revealed to be her, and Mum just went, "That is her!" And it was absolutely brilliant. And then obviously the whole bit with the corgis walking through and her doing the skydive, absolutely brilliant.
And you walked that route.
Yeah, and we've walked that route. The route that the Queen walked down, we've done that. When we went there for my damehood, when I got. No, I'm just kidding. It was for an exhibition. But yeah, also you was able to get Mum and I tickets for the Paralympics at the Velodrome, which was a fantastic day out. So yeah, a lot of fond memories. I imagine. Yeah,
it was a good time. Yeah.
The Olympics.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. When I first started, it was like, oh, I don't know if this is right. All this got to do. But literally, after a couple of months, it was like the best time going. Really.
Yeah.
So yeah, we was there for, like say, the main Olympics, and then it was the bit where you decommission the Olympics and then commission the Paralympics. So it was a week handover.
Yeah.
And that. So yeah, it's good times.
Yeah, lovely. And just sort of while we are obviously on the topic of, we came away from it and now we're going back to it a little bit about your childhood, I suppose. Just sort of want to talk a little bit about sort of Nan, if that's okay, because obviously I know the situation, but for those that obviously wouldn't, I don't know why you would, unless you was particularly close with Dad. Obviously, sort of growing up, it was quite tumultuous for you in that you became very close with your dad because obviously your mum did have an addiction, a disease. Let's be honest, addiction is a disease. So what was, that side of life like for you, if you don't mind talking about it?
She was alcoholic.
Yeah.
Simply word on that, really. And as a child, you didn't sort of notice. You did realise, you go, why isn't Mum waking up on the settee, and things like that.
Yeah.
It's because she was, a lot of the time, she was drunk, and, there's many a time you'd open a drawer and find bottles or what,
Yeah.
Whiskey was a choice of tipple, and she drunk every teacher's brand going, I think. But yeah, it was, as a child, you didn't really notice it. It was just Mum. As I got older, you realised what was going on. My dad struggled with it, as getting her sorted out, and
Yeah.
I think he relaxed and sort of gave in, but, unfortunately with it, it was, it controlled her life so... Yeah, it controlled her life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was sad. I mean, she was a lovely person when she was not on the drink.
Yeah.
But she'd become, I'd say nasty, but yeah, it was a bit nasty. And so, yeah, that's it. I think a little bit that sort of moved me away from him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, she did die, I would say, fairly young. And I think it was the drink that did it. And in fact, when we was clearing the house, we did find a letter that more or less said that from the hospital that she had opened and put away, which more or less is you must immediately stop drinking, otherwise you will liver failure. And that was very stark from the hospital.
Yeah.
Which she just looked at and forgot all about.
Yeah.
Carried on,
Yeah, it's like I said, unfortunately, addiction is essentially a disease. It's a mental health condition,
it's
which
horrible. It is a disease, but it also makes it makes them lose all sort of sense of reality a little bit.
Yeah,
there's only that, as with addiction, there's only one cure, and that's where a substance it is they need. And there was one time which was, I think my dad had to go into hospital overnight for an operation. And I sort of said to her, can you just be good for one night? Oh, yeah, one night, I'll be fine. And, a few hours later or next morning, oh, can you get down? Your mum's on the floor in the hall, we can't get in.
Yeah.
And overnight she'd put away a bottle of brandy, and I had a stage where I had mum in one ward at the hospital and dad in another hospital ward. So, yes, it was a shame. And unfortunately, as I said, it brought an early, not so early ending, but yeah, she had multiple. I think she passed away really of multiple organ failure.
Yeah,
So it's a shame.
Yeah. What, if you was to give advice to maybe somebody who is going through that sort of similar kind of home life themselves, what would you sort of advise them for sort of getting through it, or,
It's very hard to say really, because I suppose I would say a little bit I took a coward's route of it and walked away from it a little bit.
Yeah.
I left it to my dad.
Yeah. But in fairness, I would say that's, yeah, okay, it could be seen as maybe the coward's route, but also, it's, as we've sort of had similar discussions within our family unit as it is now, just because they are your parents, you're not necessarily beholden to their every whim, etc. And also it's, very much a case of, as with any child, they didn't ask to be brought into this world to look after somebody with an addiction or whatever it may be. So, yeah, just because they are your parent doesn't necessarily mean that you're obligated to look after them, because in a way, yeah, it's your parent, but also that's not necessarily the contract that you signed, if that makes sense,
I mean, my dad went through it quite a bit, I think. He struggled. He did, he was there trying to sort things out, make it better, make her stop. But she was a very nervous person and she was really addicted to it. And, even to the stages where they got to the local off licence, he was like, do not sell to this woman and things like this, that. But as with any addiction, they will find a way to find something,
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I mean, looking back, maybe I could have done more, but
also,
was it not so my responsibility? That's a horrible thing to say, really.
No, not. But I know what you mean, though.
I helped my dad a bit more with it.
Yeah, but I know what you mean, because but it's literally like as I just said. It's but at the end of the day, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it is a debilitating thing that she did have to live with.
And as they always say, with any addiction, I think it is more or less, if the person wants to stop, that's where it has to be start with.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't think she never actually wanted to stop.
No.
And I think that side of the family was always liked their drink.
Yeah.
I won't say too much for that, but I think they were all sort of heavy drinkers, and it was my mum's way of coping with life, I think. And she didn't want to stop.
Yeah.
Many a time I think she stopped, but very quickly went back on it, because it was the only way that she found that she could cope with life.
Which I suppose is kind of understandable. I mean, we've all got our ways of dealing with life and the hardships that come with it. But, it is just unfortunately a shame that some people only have access or feel the need to go through more destructive means, let's say. So yeah, it is horrible. But, I also, speaking as your son, daughter, whatever you want to call me right now, hi. I also think that, listening to that life story, and I'm sure that those out there that do know you, who have been to our shows, who have met you, and etc., would agree in that, despite all of that, I think it would be very easy for a lot of men, especially, to sort of go down some quite dark avenues as an offset of that sort of upbringing. but the fact that you are one of the most, like, and I say it regularly, if there were more men in this world like Dad, the world would be a much better place. So, you know, the fact that you've been through that sort of experience and you're still this incredible, mild-mannered, open-minded man who, you know, doesn't actually have... Thankfully, you've not picked up those same vices that, you know, could have trickled down from your mum.
Don't get me wrong, I do like a drink, but
Yeah.
I'm a social drinker.
Exactly.
You know.
Despite what the doctors may say, because as we found out recently, we both have the livers of drinkers, even though we don't drink.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, so yeah, really, I do like a beer, but I rarely drink as well.
Exactly.
As you know, I don't normally drink indoors. When we go out, I will have a beer, and most of the time when we go out, it's alcohol-free beer, but only because
Exactly.
That's what I enjoy. But
Literally, yeah. There's literally nothing wrong with that. People say about, alcohol's dying out, etc. To be honest, I think alcohol-free drinks are much tastier than like alcoholic drinks most of the time. But yeah, so, you know, with that all said and done, we'll move away from that, and we'll get into happier avenues now. Well, hopefully happier for you, because we're going to talk about Mum. So obviously we've heard Mum's side of things from her episode, but talk to us about your experience of meeting Mum and the blossoming of that relationship.
yeah,
He's got to be nice to you now, so listen, make the most of this. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Where do I start with this? Yeah, all our parents used to go to. It was the BRSA, British Railways Social and Sports Association, something like that. None of them worked for British Rail, so my parents
Just enjoyed the perks.
They just joined up because it was cheap beer and entertainment.
Yeah.
It moved away from a pub. It was a club entertainment. So there was always a band on at the weekends, and the beer was at a reasonable price. So my parents went there, and Trace's parents went there as well. So, and I just sort of been of that age and go, oh, it's a pretty young lady. I wonder if she'd like to dance. So, would she like a drink? And she then promptly refused me, and that was that. She refused,
And yet you still gave chase like a randy pigeon,
Well,
like chest out, gave chase.
Yeah, she sort of kicked me in the gutter for a little while and spat on me and things like that. But
Kinky.
yeah, but threw me away.
Yeah.
I went away traumatic, tail between my legs. But for some strange reason, fate kept on throwing us back together.
Yeah.
It was stupid things like, I think on another podcast with Mum saying that, there'd be a magic show, and out of all the audience, he'd pick like me and Mum
Yeah.
to go up and do this magic show, and there'd be something going on where it got threw us together again and again, and eventually she gave in to my wonderful will and succumbed to my wonderful looks.
And also, I think that the fact that you had a good toolbox that her granddad,
Pardon? What?
your toolbox back in the day, that hammers, nails, etc.
Not that sort. Yeah.
No, not that sort. Well, I can't speak on that, but your toolbox back in the day, which Mum's granddad used to relish in taking advantage of. I think that helps. Yes.
I think granddad and great granddad really. Well, they both liked because I was into cars a lot of those days as well. So many a time I'd go round to see Mum, I'd pull up and there'd be a granddad would be out on the lot and go, oh, you got 5 minutes? I've got a problem with the car, and
5 minutes turns into 5 hours.
I was always something out in the car, so it was always something like that, and he'd be out there huffing and puffing and throwing out expletives all over the place, and I'll turn up and go, oh, if you just do that, Things like that.
And now that's turned into you. That's doing the effing and spleen and
Yeah, so it was always doing something. It was a bit of DIY, rewiring, car repairs. So it was my handy toolbox for them. It was cheap labour, I think. That's the only reason they wanted me to marry, I think.
That's what my dad said he would say.
Yeah.
He's not lost a daughter, he's gained a toolbox.
there we go.
He's going to tool.
And I've always said that. And then obviously, you know, we've heard from Mum's, you know, side of the story about the move to the illustrious Basildon, Essex, and all of that. What was your? Let's go into my other favourite topic, which is talking about me. You know, when I sort of was born, what was it like for you? I know obviously it was traumatic for you because you had to miss out on a meal during the birth.
I missed out on a meal. I never really let that down.
No, he still won't let it down. But apart from that, how was everything else?
It was good. I mean, it was a good childhood. I think you had a good childhood. I mean, it was lovely days. I mean, you know, many a time that I'd come in. I mean, one of the big memories are coming from work, and you'd be on the bouncer in the door frame between the kitchen and the hall sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I'd walk in, and then you'd be bounced up and down. You know, your feet would be tapping, and I spent the next half hour, I think, just down there and sort of playing with you and that sort of thing. But yeah, there was good days when you was little.
Yeah. No, and again, not blowing smoke up your ass. It's the God's honest truth. I had a very lovely childhood, so thank you to both of you for that. And obviously, a big part of my childhood and teen years, etc., and growing up, and to this day, as the costume gives away, it was Robot Wars. Yes. So you know, that was obviously the thing that we, growing up, bonded over, etc. I suppose really my first question is, do you regret showing me that first episode of Robot Wars, knowing the absolute demon that would be spawned from it about...
I mean, to a certain extent, I mean, when you was first of all growing up, you was like into washing machines.
Oh, yes, yeah.
The infamous washing machine. So you would have a washing machine. Or
no idea why.
You'd go around Comets or whoever they were in those days, and you know, you was more than happy to be sticking your heads and opening up doors and things like that. And we didn't have to take you to like...
They weren't on, by the way.
No, we didn't take you to theme parks. We just took you around to appliance stores, you know. You was more than happy.
What can I say? I was an easy child.
Give you a few brochures. Oh, you was great, you know, so... And then, like you say, we went into Robot Wars, so... And you're still into it now, you know, very... You know, facts and figures, Mr. Nerd, you know, or Mrs. Nerd, you know, so...
Yeah, I always say that there's maybe 3 or 4 topics which, if it comes up in trivia, do not go against me on it because you will lose. Robot Wars is one of them. So very much a Robot Wars nerd. Hi. And obviously, you know, that later down the line would develop into us actually competing, etc. You know, from those days, is there a particular, I don't know, event that stood out to you as being a favourite from those years?
We had some good times. I think it was a couple where we did like a few town centres and...
Yeah, I think there was one in Aylesbury, I want to say.
Yeah, I know there was that. I remember that one was, I think one of the batteries went up, was going up in smoke, and I remember they threw it onto the local fountain, I think.
Yeah. Was that the first time that we competed with Artemis, I think it was called?
I think so.
The flipper, and it got wedged on its side and then, it decided to explode.
So that was that. We did a couple of sports centres, and I think the big one was at was it the air show?
Yeah, RAF something. Fairford, yeah. RAF Fairford. That was
a good, because it was an air show itself, and then they had many things going on, but they had like these robot war things going on as well.
Yeah.
So, and I remember I would disappear and leave you to it while I went to see the planes, and There'd be a frantic call from Mum going, "Get back! He needs this and needs that done." Oh, hang on. Oh, okay.
Obviously, back in those days, I wasn't as like savvy as I am today with like, you know, being able to fix something or, you know, actually maintain a robot. Whereas today, I'm very much hands-on in that regard. But yeah, back then it was very much, I'll do what I can, but the majority of it shall fall to Dad.
Yeah. I shall repair it. I shall build it. I shall fix it. And you will drive it straight into a pit. I think that used to be the thing.
Oh, I've got a cold. You've gone off and left me and I don't know what to do and I can't get hold of it.
In my defence, the pit thing literally come out of, there was one fight, yes, I know I'm going to talk about it. It was one of the sports centre events. I can't remember which one. One of the fights with our featherweight robot, Hunter. And yeah, I'm basically Hunter, for those that don't know anything about Robot Wars. It was classed as like a rammer, like a ram bot. So the idea was, and literally with the featherweights as well, the featherweights compared to the heavyweights, you'd get maybe like 4 in the arena at a time, 2 head-to-head. Featherweights, it was 12 to
melee.
12 to 20 robots in the arena at one time. So the idea with Hunter was, right, stick it in the arena, drive forward, hope we hit something. Which often resulted in, right, drive forward, hope we hit something. And at that moment, someone activated the pit. So the pit would descend in front of me and then I would dive into the pit unexpectedly. So, yeah. But apart from that, I am a good driver, I promise.
Many a battle ended quickly by you going down the pits, yeah. So.
Yes, but yeah, I mean, no. To be fair though, there weren't many that we did win. We were just there more for the competing.
Oh, yeah, it was quite fun, really, wasn't it? With all the other people and that, and we was there. So that was good bunch of people, really.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously I'm still in contact with some of them to these days. Shout out if you are listening or watching for some reason. But yeah, I mean, going back to that Fairfield one, I think that's like one of the few times that we actually did win a fight. With I put in one that I actually built myself, Alejandro. The writing was on the wall very much back then, naming a robot after a Lady Gaga song. And yeah, it was that battle where I duct taped a pool noodle to its weapon, spun it around, and because it was at the end of the event, the arena floor was it was like wood back in those days, rather than like hard metal that it is today. So obviously a whole weekend of the event, the arena floor was ripped to absolute shreds, just absolute debris everywhere. So I just taped a pool noodle to my robot, span it around, debris flying everywhere. The audience loved it, cast us as a winner. Perfect, there we go, sorted.
Putting the pit up straight away, yeah.
Yep, there we go. Yeah. See, I was doing them a favour as well. So yeah, obviously we've had a lot of very good memories back then, and then it progressed into all things bright, gay and beautiful and drag, because I like to keep people on their toes. So growing up, you know, watching me grow up, etc., was there ever any point in your mind where it was like, oh, my son could be a fairy? Was there ever that sort of thing in your mind?
Well, from the dolls' houses that you had, and the dolls and the dressing up, and no. We still hoped he was going to be a washing machine repairman, you know, get our washing machines repaired. But no, you abandoned that idea and went a different direction. So.
I know. Now I make stuff that goes into the washing machines. And obviously, I think we sort of covered it on Mum's episode, but the my coming out story, there was the obviously we heard Mum's side of it, and your side of it was as I'd come out to Mum. You was on a work trip or something.
Course. Yeah, I was on a course,
and you was due back the next day. So was it nice to come home from a long work trip to being thrust upon with the information that your son's a homo, or?
No, No, it was. I sort of remember walking in and sort of like, I think, okay, yeah, drive, okay, yeah, and all that business. Oh, I've got something to tell you. And mum, you know, it was mum, she said, I've got something to tell you. Okay. You know, Matt's sort of gay.
Matt's sort of gay.
Yeah.
He's sort of gay.
He thinks he's, you know, okay. And I literally was okay.
Yeah.
You know, there was no, you know, as you hear these stories of, you know, I'm going to chuck him out of the house. No, it was like,
No.
is he okay? Is dinner ready? That was about it, really. I think that's about it, really.
Literally. Yeah, and I suppose, obviously, that was kind of where my head was, because when, obviously, I was coming out, it was very much not like it is today, where we have all of these positive voices and stories, etc., that have been able to tell, you know, a different take on things, whereas back when I was obviously in like secondary school and coming up with it and discovering who I was, it was still very much a case of if there was ever like a gay storyline on TV, etc., it was very much the case of, oh, they're going to get thrown out, and it was still that same rhetoric. So I suppose in my mind that was kind of like where the fear and phobia had come from, which is why we're still very much advocates for representation, etc., because that's why we need it. But yeah, I still remember it was so lovely that you just came upstairs to my room. I think I was a little bit like, oh shit, here we go. And you're just like, yeah, it's fine. It's all right.
You're right.
It's all right.
Are you okay? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Really, there was nothing. I mean, I suppose we've gone through a time where when we were kids, it wasn't, I'm not say acceptable, but it wasn't talked about. You know, and then as we went through late 70s, 80s, that was a sort of, not say common thing, but it was becoming more accepted. And don't get us wrong, we come from families where none of that went on.
Yeah.
You know, we was, as far as I knew, the families were all straight, heterosexual. But I personally had nothing against it. Nothing, you know, very much. I mean, I went through, going back to secondary school, I mean, there was one point where, in those days, I mean, I acted, you could say, a bit gay, you know, at one point, and suddenly found that I had no friends in the school. And that's how it happened. And I thought, no, I'm not having, you know, very much against that, you know, and that sort of stayed with me a lot from my life, you know. And so I made sure that, I mean, I don't like bullies, you know, I don't like bigots, really.
Yeah.
You know, people who only got one track mind of this is the way it should be. Well, no, it's not. It's life.
Yeah.
You know, I personally think that as parents, we bring you into the world, but we are just guides.
Yeah.
We sort of lay breadcrumbs in front of you and go, you know, this is what you need to do. This is the good things you need to do, bad things you don't do. And that's, as parents, that's what you do. You show you the way. But at the end of the day, you're your own person. What you do with your life, and the far end, all as parents, what we want is you to be happy and healthy. You know, life's short enough as it is.
Yeah.
And it's crap enough as it is. You know, and to have to put up with acting like how people expect you to act, not how you want to act, are two different things.
Yeah.
You know, and they've got no place really, as far as I'm concerned. You know, so be who you want to be. You know, as long as you're happy, you're healthy, you're not hurting anyone else, you're not being a bully, then good on you. And that's my opinion, unfortunately.
Amen to that. Golden Sea. Amen. Like, and I think that pretty much says it all. And on that note, I think that is the perfect time for us to take a break. So we shall love and leave you for a few minutes. Enjoy our very nice, pretty adverts that I've made. Hello. And we shall see you right after this. Goodbye, my lovelies. This episode is sponsored by Essex Pride.
Are you looking for the biggest celebration of love, diversity and community in Essex? Then get ready for Essex Pride 2026. Returning to Chelmsford on Saturday the 20th of June for an incredible 22nd year. Join thousands of people for an unforgettable day packed with live entertainment, pride celebrations, food, music and community spirit. The day begins with the colourful City Centre Pride March, led by RuPaul's Drag Race UK star Cheryl, before the huge festival takes over Central Park from midday until 10 p.m. Expect 2 live stages, outrageous drag performances, a silent disco, karaoke, family activities, and amazing headline acts including Atomic Kitten, Danny Beard, Cheryl, and Eurovision winner Katrina from Katrina and the Waves. Oh, and you can also catch a little group called HotHouse Drag on the cabaret stage for a 1-hour Pride takeover. Whether you're LGBTQ+, an ally, or with family and friends, everyone is welcome. Celebrate equality, celebrate diversity, celebrate you. Get your tickets and full event details now at www.essexpride.org. Thank you, Essex Pride, for sponsoring this podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Dina Lawman Photography. Now, if you have been to any of our visual hothouse channels, whether it be our website or our social media, or even the social media of some of our drag performers, then no doubt you have seen Dina's work. Now, it's not just drag performers that she photographs, okay? She photographs everything from children to families and pets to even boudoir shoots, and of course drag performers. She has her own fully equipped studio in Rayleigh with 15 years of experience and competitive pricing. But if that's not enough for you, our listeners right now can get a 10% discount if you mention HotHouse to her when making a booking. That's Dina Lawman Photography, DeanaLawman Photography, and you can find her on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or online, or you can also email her right now at dinalawmanphotography@gmail.com. Thank you for sponsoring our podcast, and be sure to go and get your photos with her right now.
Are you looking to get even more HotHouse goodness into your life? Then follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with our latest news and events. Or you can visit our website at hothousedrag.co.uk to find out more and buy your tickets for our next fantastic show. See you there, my lovelies.
Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm still joined on the sofa by the ever alright Papa Blackheart, aka Stephen Hunt.
All
Alright. And for this part of the show, I went and grabbed it. This is the work in progress version of my upcoming Antweight. I am looking at getting back into the robot combat hobby as something outside of the world of drag. And this is the current work in progress. It's called Polonium. And yes, all of my robots will most likely have some sort of ties to nuclear or radioactive materials, because I still like to be on brand. Right, so we open this part of the show with, as always, audience questions. So audience questions is where you lovely folks out there get to submit questions to our very distinguished guests that we have. Thank you for doing so. And I have a few here for you, Papa Blackheart. Oh. So if you're ready for it.
Okay.
So our first question comes from Kenzie. And she asks, which is/was your favourite Robot Wars robot?
I think from the early days would have been still Chaos 2.
Yeah.
That's still one of my all-time favourites, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, Chaos 2, to use like modern day language, is the GOAT. I mean, it's the only one that won Robot Wars twice in a row.
And then after that, maybe Razor.
Yeah. Yeah, big fan of Razor as well.
So there's some of the iconic ones, really.
Yeah.
And but the only other one which I sort of loved really much was it Behemoth?
Yeah, Behemoth, yeah.
The sort of I say forklift type bulldozer thing.
Yeah, like the huge like plough at the front, which
But yeah, they're the early days, and they was all robots where in those early days where people more or less built them in their own garages and workshops and things like that. Whereas now, when you look at a lot of these ones now, especially the American ones, you need a multi-million-pound
engineering firm
to make these parts, out of titanium and...
Yeah, the American one, I mean, I don't... Obviously, we wouldn't know exactly what it's like over there, being that we're in the UK, but you sort of look at, like you're saying, like stuff like BattleBots, especially like the modern series, and you sort of wonder how anyone can get into the sport or the hobby, whatever you want to call it nowadays, because it's... No, I mean, especially in those weight classes, it's incredible what they're doing, but also for the average Joe, it's also quite ridiculous, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you look at them and you know that they're going to cost a lot of money because they need a hell of a lot of sponsorship, and you're looking at, I think, something like 40,000 plus.
Yeah. And the thing with the American one as well is that they've got that sponsorship plastered over them. Yeah. Whereas in the UK, we can't do that. Well, we couldn't because Robot Wars was on like the BBC.
That's right.
So we couldn't do the sponsorships.
And it's never really, once the BBC gave it up, it really fell by the wayside a little bit, and there's still grassroots really. I mean, there's still some good battles out there and there's still some good robots, but...
Oh, yeah. I still think very much a lot of the UK competitors today are still very grassroots, and I obviously know from still being friends with some of them that they are still just doing it in their sheds, and they make... Obviously, a lot of them have grown up... some of them from when we last competed, so they have a bit more access to resources nowadays.
Yeah, but there's still, when you look at a lot of them still, there's still opportunities for the average person to actually have a go at doing something.
Yes.
I know there's still a lot of money in it, and they talk about things like Hardox and things like that they're using and that sort of thing. But, you look at them and go, well, I can have a go. I could build something there, but it's still nice to see that in the UK we still, especially with starting at the smaller ones, the featherweights and things like that, that they are still open to, newcomers really. Yeah,
and to be fair as well, I think because obviously even with the ant weights, like I'm going to be competing with, hopefully, obviously during the break we were talking about like there's. When we last competed with it, it was maybe, I think I calculated it must be about 15 plus years since we obviously did it. Went to a competing event. And back in those days, the ant weight class was literally a case of, here's a few panels of plastic, which I've, crudely cut out and taped together. And it's a robot, and it actually did bloody well, to be fair, back in the day. And 3D printing technology was only just becoming a thing, I think. I think there was like one or two when we last competed, which did use 3D printing, and they were the sort of robots that came through like the university teams and stuff like that. Whereas today, I mean, 3D printing is very much a lot more commonplace. I mean, we've got one now, and it's a lot more open to hobbyists. But like you were saying, about not everyone has access to those sorts of things, and there are events where, because obviously I was sort of looking at what events are there nowadays for these sorts of weight classes, and there was one which I think they compete in London, and they called themselves. I'm going to get the name wrong. I do apologise. I think it's like the Queer Robot Fighting League. So it's more in tune to getting LGBTQ plus people into STEM through robotics. And part of the rules for what they do at their events is that you can't have any parts on your robot which have been 3D printed. It all has to be from scratch, like engineered, etc. And
that'd be good.
Yeah. So, it is really lovely to see what people are doing in those regards as well. Whether I will compete in that regard. I don't know, because I'm now indebted to my 3D printer. But yeah, it's options, and it's lovely to see that people are still keeping that side of things alive. So
Good.
yeah, there we go. So moving away now from Robot Wars, for all of those of you who couldn't give two hoots about it, back into the actual birthplace of the HotCast, which is drag. And our next question comes from Vixie, and they ask, who's your favourite audience member?
Oh.
Not at all leading question, that one. But,
Well, it's going to have to be Mama B, I think. You know, she's
Yeah.
my favourite audience. She's always there beside me, right there. There is this annoying audience member is always there. I mean,
All right,
always
yeah.
there. Vixie or something her name is?
yeah, Vicky, yeah,
Something like that. Mixie?
Yeah.
Something like that.
She's always taking photos and videos and...
In your face, she's,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. But no, apart from that, there's a lot of audiences are quite good.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Love you, Vixie.
we love you, really. But no, we always do say that we are lucky with the audience that we do get at Hot House, how just lovely they are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're definitely lucky in that regard. So we love you all very much. Our next question comes from your son-in-law, Jake. And he asks, if you had to get rid of all takeaways except one, which takeaway food would you keep?
I do like a good Indian.
Don't get to have it that often, though,
No,
unfortunately.
no,
But I
unfortunately.
suppose then that kind of it keeps it a novelty, which is nice.
I mean, you don't get fed up with it, but yeah, I do like nice Indian. But we don't very often, because anything more than spicy than water, then
Yeah.
B doesn't eat it. So
As the infamous story at Nando's goes, we've only ever been to Nando's once as a family. Once. We tried to get Mama B onto it, but despite the fact that she had everything plain, it was still too spicy for her.
even the water was spicy, apparently.
Yeah. I honestly think at one point she literally said, even this water's got a bit of a kick to it. And that was the worst thing she could have done. It snowballed from there. Our next question again comes from your son-in-law, Jake. And he asks, if you were a pigeon for a day, what would you do? This is the hard-hitting journalism that you tune in for.
I think it would just be a bird and just fly about.
Yeah.
Just that ability to just fly wherever you want
Oh, yeah.
and just look down on the world. I mean, that must be fantastic, mustn't it?
Yeah.
You know, to actually be a bird and just go, oh, and then every now and again go, don't like you.
Yep.
Crap on your head, but there you go. But
Yeah, that was going to be my addition to that answer. You know, oh, there's Nigel Farage. Let's give him a nice little bird pat to go about his day with. Context for that as well. Papa B loves pigeons, for those that didn't get the reference. Which nicely leads us into our next question from my daughter Gunzia. If you were to have your own Gunzia original plushie, what would you want?
well, maybe it has to be a pigeon then, really. I mean, there you go. I mean, a little pigeon. I could do the love of my life, Shania Twain. Or the other love of my life would be a lathe. Wouldn't
Yeah.
work in lathe, but
And it's at this point that Gunzia now goes, what the hell is a woodworking lathe?
metalworking lathe.
Oh, metalworking, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
Metalworking
You're
lathe.
looking up on Google going, what's that?
Yeah. Can I get that as a crochet pattern? The answer is no, you can't, unfortunately. Our next question, well, both of them are quite similar, to be fair. So the first one comes from Anonymous, and they ask, what is your favourite Kenzie performance and why? And the next question underneath that comes from Parmesan de la Torres, who asks, which of Kenzie's performances stood out the most to you and why? Talking about me now.
Yes. I do love some of the ones where you've done with Tracy Paper. So the ones that stand out were like Binaba, Cheeky Girls.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some of the iconic ones going. Yeah, I mean, they've been some of my most favourite. I mean, the ones where you've done Shania Twain sort of things, you've ruined that for me for life. So all the loves of my life you've been slowly going through ruining,
Yeah. What's the hit?
Cheryl, you got to do Cheryl, yeah, just to ruin her.
No, I've done Cheryl.
Oh, you done Cheryl? You've ruined
Yeah, we did the Girls Aloud number, and I insisted that I was going to be Cheryl just for that reason.
Yeah, that's ruined that one for me.
Not done the Call on Me video yet, or Satisfaction. Satisfaction, Benny Benassi. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Peanut Gallery. So, yeah, but, there's still time.
Yeah, it's up to ruin all my life memories.
And it's one day when you're going to get me back and you're going to turn up somewhere dressed as Apollo from Gladiators. So, there's a nice image for everyone. Penultimate question comes from Elle. And she asks, what advice would you give to other fathers on accepting their gay son?
I think it's very much what I said before, really. Just accept people for what they are. It's all very easy to say, this is not right. But that is, from that person's point of view, it's not maybe right. It's not the person who... It's not that person's way they want to act their life. So you just got to accept it. At the end of the day, the child, as long as they're happy and healthy, does it really matter what they want to do? Just because they don't meet your expectations, then all I can say is, well, sorry on you, really. Grow up. Really. Life's too short. Just take it for what it is.
Yeah. Amen to that. Amen. And, the final question, it's not really a question, and they do say that as well, comes from Kieran, if you remember him. Friend of mine from back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, and I think this just sums everything up really nicely, not a question, but just a shout out to a great guy for all the trips to and from London, King.
Oh, right, okay.
And I think that sums it up, really, about, obviously I've, like yourself, grown up an only child, but more for you because now you inherited all of these other children, same as Mama B. But, I think that sums everything up nicely that, despite me sort of adopting siblings left, right and centre throughout my life, that you've always been, both of you, very... with open arms for it, so... Yeah,
we've started off with one and slowly we've gathered more and more. I'm not too sure how that worked out, really, but, I don't think we'll change it. I mean, sometimes you go, the house is absolutely full and heaving, you go, what happened here? But...
You thought you were being sly, only having an only child. Yeah. Plot twist. You adopted 500 more. And that was audience questions. Thank you so much, everybody, for submitting yours. Please be sure to keep a check on our social media for your next opportunity to do so. But with that, we now go on to probably your least favourite part of the episodes, which is the hot seat. So the hot seat is a rapid fire question round. But in this case, probably not so much. All I need you to do, Papa Blackheart, is answer these questions to the best of your ability.
Okay.
As well as you can. So, the first one, what is your favourite word?
Food's up.
What is your least favourite word?
The kitchen's closed. I mean, no, it's not a single word, but that's...
A sentence.
By those things, I do enjoy my food.
Yes.
As it shows, so unfortunately.
In case you couldn't tell. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
I think more or less anything to do with my hands, really. So, as you know, I enjoy really working with metal, and I just disappear many hours down my workshop nowadays, and that's a place where I can live myself mentally.
Yeah.
I can it's a place where I can sort my mind out, if that's right
Yeah.
to say. You know, so it's just that when life's, I'll say sometimes when life's hard, because I'm retired, so life's not heavy nowadays, so that's the thing. But there's times where you just lose yourself in solving a problem.
Yes.
You know, I have a piece of metal, I want to make this. How do I do that? And it just takes you away, and it just sort of, as I say, it puts all your little ducks in the row. So
Yeah. And I completely echo that. In the same regard, what turns you off?
again, I mentioned earlier, bigots really, single-minded people who not willing to accept or take, learn new things.
Yeah.
You know, this is the way it should be. I'm not happy with that. You know, and well, embrace it. You might enjoy it.
Life is all about spice and variety, and if we all lived the same, it would be very boring. So, just take it all in for what it is. What sound or noise do you love?
One of my favourite times of day is really just getting, unfortunately, working for many years of getting up early. I still tend to, the minute it's daylight, I tend to wake up and want to get up anyway.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah, so, but just to get up early, maybe with a cup of tea or coffee, go and sit in the garden, and just the silence, but just listen to the birds. You know, and I think that's very relaxing.
Yeah. Well, you're a bit of a twitcher, I suppose, as well. So
yeah,
that helps.
I mean, that's a little bit. So yeah, but just watching the birds go about their lives and that without
Unencumbered.
yes.
What sound or noise do you hate? If any.
Yeah, I don't think I've got one really. I can't actually say there's anything particular that I go, oh, I'm not. But no, I don't think. No, I think that's a no really.
There we go, our first one. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt, or would you have liked to have attempted, being that you're now retired?
When I first started looking as to leaving school and what I want to do, the things that I wanted to do was either, because I was very much into electronics, so it would have been either working, at the time it was either end up being for the BT, for working BT as it was, or the BBC as a cameraman. I'd love to have done that. It was either going the cameraman or learning all their sort of sound and that sort of stuff, and I think that would have been quite a good number really.
Also up your alley.
That would have been lovely, that would have been. But, you know, those days, unfortunately, it was like, I mean, my dad said, well, I think BT come back with a job offer first, and it was like, well, you got your job offer, that's it, you can forget anything else. So it's something that I didn't pursue really, but something, looking back on it, something that I'd like to have pursued, I think, maybe. So
There we go. I mean, who knows, in another alternate universe, you've filmed episodes of Doctor Who and stuff like that. So, what profession would you not like to do?
really, things like call centres, retail, office working, really. I mean, just to sit at a desk all day, really.
Yeah.
You know, without getting hands on. So
Yeah. Having been through all of them, I can relate. And the final question, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I think maybe just sort of like, you know, hi, you've been a good man for your life, you know, tried your best, come in.
Yeah. You're a good man, Stephen Hunt.
You did all right.
He did all right.
With a thumbs up.
Yeah, you did all right. Well done. That was not as painful as... Where we go?
Well, this sitting through all of them, some of it must have...
Exactly. You must have picked something up just back of your mind. That was, of course, the hot seat. And we now go to the final segment of the show, which is happy endings. Been a while since you had one of them.
Yes.
Oh, my head's hurting. So Happy Endings is the part of the show where we like to finish things off in a light-hearted, positive way, as per the Hot House method. So, for example, my one for this episode, and as it basically has been throughout this entire episode, is just going to be Robot Wars and robot combat. And hopefully I will finally scratch that 15-year itch and get back into the arena very soon. So I'm working on it, on top of everything else that I do in my life. I've decided I'm now just going to start calling myself a professional hobbyist. I mean, that's right. That's about right.
You know, you do things for no money, so that's quite...
Yeah.
Because you don't seem to bring no money in this house. Freeloader.
I know. Do you know what? I'm happy for it. What is your one for this episode?
Mine would be really to get this back right so that I can get back out in the workshop, really. Mm-hmm. And get out under the feet of the wonderful Mrs. Hunt. So,
called you wonderful. There we go.
Well, it's near our anniversary, so I'll be...
Yeah. I suppose you should. Tomorrow, at time of recording, tomorrow it's their anniversary. How many years?
38.
Don't get that for murder.
There it is. There's the classic. Well, yes. Thank you once again for joining me. I know it's definitely been outside of your comfort zone, but it's for me, obviously, as your child, it's lovely to sit down and actually have these sorts of discussions. Not many people get to do this sort of thing and have it recorded. So, it's been very lovely for me. Normally I would say, where can people find you? But you don't.
On the sofa here, normally.
There we go. Literally don't. There's no social media or anything unless you're scrolling through YouTube shorts or that, or lave porn on YouTube. So, if you want to find Dad online, that's where he'll be. And with that, we shall now love and leave you. Please be sure to keep a check on our social media for your next opportunity to get involved with questions, etc. And we shall see you then, my lovelies. Goodbye.
The HotCast is a Hot House Drag UK production, hosted, produced and edited by Kenz Blackheart. For more information, visit hothousedrag.co.uk or search for Hot House Drag UK on your chosen social media site. Thank you for listening.